Hello YouTube and welcome to episode 4 of our Sapphire series, and in this episode we're going to be looking at preconditions, which is basically a condition that runs before a command is executed. So it checks, it's basically a custom permissions, like you've got the client permissions that we looked at last video, but this time it's like a custom one for like owner only or a role check, whatever it is, you name it. But we're going to be looking at that. So we're going to go ahead and create a preconditions directory. And we're going to name it owneronly.ts. Casing is important. It cannot be camel case. It needs to be the way I just done it. Import preconditions. Or is it precondition? Precondition is precondition, and we want to import the type of a message. I'm going to make a variable for bot owners, which is going to be a string array, and this will be an array of all the bot owners. We'll leave it empty for now for testing purposes later on, and we'll go ahead and import the bot owners from the config. We'll export class owner only precondition extends precondition, and we're going to do public async run, and we'll pass through a message like so. Then we're going to return bot owners dot includes message.author.id. If it includes the message author ID, this is called a ternary operator, by the way. It's like an if statement, but looks cleaner. But we'll return this.ok. Otherwise, we'll return this.error with a message: you are not a bot owner and cannot run this command. That's the precondition. This returns true, this returns the error. So if it returns it's okay, it's going to signal this is okay to run the command. Otherwise, there's an error running the command. You can't run the command, and it'll put a stop there and return that message. This video is proudly sponsored by HostingBot, a cheap, fast and reliable hosting company. They provide a selection of services to suit your hosting needs, including Discord bot hosting, servers, and website hosting. Why should you use this company compared to other companies? That is because HostingBot does not oversell their resources, and they own their own hardware in their own data centers. With our discount code, you can host your Discord bot for as cheap as under $2. Use the code Monoxity at checkout. If you're having doubts, just look at all these happy customers. Since we're using TypeScript, we have to do this. Declare module at sapphire/framework. The interface preconditions is now going to have an owner only with the type never. Now, with this newly created precondition, we're going to create an owner only command. So I'll create a new category for that called owner, and we'll name the command Eval, which is basically an evaluate JavaScript code. We'll be making a bare basic eval command. It's going to be nothing special. It's literally just to show you how these preconditions work. So we'll go ahead and export class eval command, which is going to extend command. It's going to have a public constructor, context, command.context, and the options, which is command.options. We'll have our super with context and our options passed through, the command name being eval, the description being evaluate JavaScript code. Our preconditions going to be owner only that we just created, and our full category being owner, like so. Now we want our message run function, which is going to have our message and our arguments. So we're going to define a variable, which is going to be a string, we need to make this message run function asynchronous, and we can await args.rest like we did last episode, and we will catch it and say null. If there's no input, we want to send a message saying you did not provide any code to evaluate. Then we're going to use a try catch statement. This is the type of error. Never mind, we'll just leave it undefined. But we're going to be trying to get an output, which is going to be a string. We're going to try and evaluate our input. If there's an error doing this, if you provide bad code, it's going to be caught. We're going to do message.channel.send. Then we're going to do 3 backticks for code block, error.stack, and 3 backticks again. And that's going to send how an error would pop up in Visual Studio Code, pretty much. As for our output, we can return, if it is successful, no errors. We're going to have our code blocks again with JS format. And then we're going to have output, and I want to substring 0 to 1950, just in case it's over the message character limit. So it'll just handle that. It'll slice the rest off pretty much. And then we're going to want our 3 backticks again, like so. There is one more thing that I almost forgot to do. We need to add another listener. This time it's going to be one of Sapphire's listeners. And the listener is going to be called command denied. Remember camel case. So we now want to import listener from the Sapphire framework and message from discord.js. We're going to want the command denied payload and user error as well from Sapphire framework. And we can export our class command denied listener extends listener. And then I believe it's public run, if I remember correctly. Public run, we want error, user error. And then we're going to destructure the message variable from the command denied payload. And we are simply going to return message.channel.send. Going to simply return error.message, like so. We didn't actually need this message class on discord.js. I got confused because of this. Sometimes I'm an idiot. Anyway, let's compile the bot. Run node. And now ideally, you are not a bot owner and cannot run this command. The reason it's saying this is because in the config, we have an empty bot owners array. Now, if I put my ID in there, compile the bot again, restart it, now my ID's in there, I can run the command. So let's do message.author.id. And then let's get ourselves a syntax error. So I'll leave the A out of author. Cannot read properties of undefined. So that's our eval command. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in a later episode.